I just wanted to do a quick introduction to Tkinter, or however you're supposed to pronounce it. And you should be familiar with what it is and what it does, and the fact that it's really useful for applications rather than sort of games. So we'll give you this sort of interface really, where you can put in buttons and text areas and all sorts of things. So in order to use Tkinter, you first need to import it. You can do import Tkinter. I prefer doing it this way. So this says, instead of just import Tkinter, then you'll be able to access it. You can just say, okay, from Tkinter, import everything. To show you an example of that way round, if we have import random, you can then use random.randint, and that will generate you a random integer. If you said from random import randint, then suddenly you don't need that. You can just say, okay, randint is now part of this program. Or if you say everything, then randint and randchoice and all sorts of other things are just available as commands. You don't need to prefix it with random dot. So it just makes things a bit easier. And so we're doing exactly the same thing with Tkinter. It just means that we don't have to type Tkinter at the beginning of everything which uses Tkinter. Okay, so that imports it and gets it started. The next thing we need to do is actually create our base window, and that's done with that command. So that says, okay, window, the variable window, is now a Tkinter thing. You can do things like saying, okay, window manager title, and that will call it test and give you a title at the top. You can do various other things on there, like geometry to set the size, all sorts of other things. We'll leave it as that for a minute, because what we need is this command. Now what this does is it says, okay, go to the window and actually give it control of the program, so pass it over there. And this is blocking, and what that means is this program will not get to this line because it will be stuck in here running everything for handling the window. Once you've closed the window, then yeah, it can carry on from here. But this is essentially relinquishing control and saying, okay, Tkinter, I've done all the setup, it's now over to you. If we could just have a quick look at that running. There we go, a window called test. And it runs, and notice it hasn't printed here yet. We've got an X, not a lot else. So if we close that, then there we go. It carries on and does whatever else. So this will be your cleanup. So just getting rid of anything, saving any files, that sort of thing. Okay, that allows you to create a basic window. So you need to be able to actually put things on that window, and we need to work in here. So this was your setting things up. This is your saying, okay, everything's set up, now let's run it. So we can do things in here. And we can put in a label. And to create a label, funny enough, we use the label command. And then we need to say, okay, what will that label be part of? And that label will be part of the window. So it will be a child of the window. Window will be its parent. Then whatever other arguments are required for that type of thing, type of control, object, widget, that's the word. Now for a label, you'll want the text. So it's just text equals and then whatever you want. there we go, my text. Now we're not just creating this and putting it nowhere, we're actually going to put it into a variable. So now that creates a variable called question, which is a label, it is storing a label. Then once you've got that variable, you need to then actually put it into the GUI, because that isn't showing anything yet. It's not erroring, but you've just created that variable, you haven't done anything with it. So we can just say, okay, question dot, and then tell it to put it into the GUI. And just to start with, we're just going to use place. And place just takes, actually we'll use pack, because pack is your simplest one. That just chucks it into the window. We run that, there we go, that's just added that in. You've got label, likewise you can do entries, and that will be a text box, so that should say window. So that will be a text box. And then you can do buttons as well. And we'll look into that more in another video. We'll take that one out for now, but there we go. So that creates a label and a entry box, and we can create other stuff. So that's your big brief introduction.